In this video, let's take time to practice going from the general form of a line to the point slope form. So let me give you an example to work out. 3x plus 4y equals 12. So this will be a fairly easy example. So go ahead and pause the video and work through it. Here's my solution. We want to isolate y, so we don't want to move y from the left-hand side of the equation. We want to leave it there. So the best thing to do is to subtract 3x from both sides of the equation. When I do that, I am left with 4y on the left-hand side of the equation would equal negative 3x plus 12. I could have written 12 minus 3x, but it would look less like the point slope form of the line that we're familiar with. In my next step, I can divide both sides by 4. Make sure I divide the entire right-hand side by 4. And this will give me my final result that y is equal to negative 3/4 x plus 3. So note I divided both terms on the right-hand side by 4. So the general form, 3x plus 4y equals 12, is equivalent to the slope intercept form, y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3. So the slope is negative 3/4, and the y-intercept is 3. By the way, we could convert this into an infinite number of variations of point slope forms instead of slope-intercept forms. I could add anything or subtract anything from the left-hand side. So let's just say y minus 2 would equal negative 3/4 x plus 1. Notice I've subtracted 2 from both sides. So the resulting equation is equivalent. This shows me that if I wanted to, I could have I could graph this line by going through 2, negative 1, and give it a slope of negative 3/4, and it would give me the same line that the other two forms would give me. In general, we want, when we have the general form, we will get it into the point slope form and not try to make it into, the slope-intercept form and not try to convert it into a point slope form, because there are an infinite number of point slope variations because every line goes through an infinite number of points, but there is only one, so this is unique, there is only one slope-intercept form for any given line. So we will convert to that. Let's look at one more example. This one will be a little harder. Let's consider one with fractions. So 3/2 x minus 7/5 y equals negative 4. So pause the video and work that out. Now, some of you may have actually tried to do this working with fractions the entire way. There's a nice, easy way to do this. The easy way is to note that the denominators of 2 and 5 have a least common multiple of 10. So if we were to multiply both sides of the equation by 10, we will get negative 40 on the right-hand side. Now let's distribute our 10, and we end up with 15x minus 14y equals negative 40. This is much easier to work with. So I highly recommend when you're working with fractions, multiply through by what would be the least common denominator of all the denominators, and it makes the problem much simpler. So now we can do similarly to what we've done before. There are a lot of different ways we could approach this, but let's start by subtracting 15x from both sides and rewrite this that negative 14y is equal to negative 15x minus 40. Once again, I put the term with x before the constant term. And now, in order to solve this, we need to divide by negative 14. But let's do that in 2 steps. Let's divide by negative 1. So we get 14y would be 15x plus 40. So by breaking this into 2 steps, I'm less likely to make a mistake. Now divide by 14 and divide the entire right-hand side by 14. And my final result is that y is equal to 15/14 x plus 40 over 14, which would reduce down to 20 over 7. If you like, you can express that different ways. You could leave that as 40/14 to keep the same denominator for both.